Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In Easy Evenings, the value that we're exploring right now is ahimsa. In our workshop, we've defined that as non-harming. In Easy Evenings, we've defined this as sensitivity. Only when you know who you are will you not harm others according to who they are. If you don't know your mind, there's a good chance that you will harm others' minds. But if you know your mind, you won't harm others' minds. Meaningful Mornings is a mirror to who we are, and specifically Prince Arjuna. So another name for Meaningful Mornings is Mirror Mornings. And looking in the mirror in the morning can be quite frightening, but all of you are tough, tapa. All of you have faith, shraddha. In our last verse, Sanjaya is describing Prince Arjuna. And he says, Kripaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravit. Prince Arjuna is filled with a deep pity. And feeling overwhelmed, he speaks. In this one line, we come to analyze the difference between apathy, sympathy, and empathy. Apathy is hatred. Because I know you have problems, but I ignore them. Sympathy is fear. I know you have problems, but my problems are a priority. I'm afraid to come outside of my comfort zone. I'm afraid of giving. This is what Prince Arjuna is feeling, fear. Empathy is love. You have problems, I have problems. Yours are equally important to mine. I'm not afraid of giving. In this line, Prince Arjuna is succumbing to flight instead of being activated to fight. Remember, his responsibility is to protect not just a person, a family, but to protect all people. What does Prince Arjuna share? Drishvemam swajanam Krishna, yuyutsam samupastitam. You have to visualize that he's speaking to Shri Krishna in a sad way. And he shares that I see swajanam, people who were born with me. Yuyutsam samupastitam, and they're eager to fight. He may never have seen some people that are related to him in this position before. And this is shaking him. This is like if you know someone who's always healthy, always happy, when they're less healthy, less happy, that really shakes you, yes? This is what he's experiencing. And this shows his worldly confidence, which is filled with extroversion and rajas, is being tested, and he is failing. He is cracking. From verse 28 to 47, that's the last verse in this chapter, it is only Prince Arjuna who's speaking, and each layer of him starts to crack, starting with his body, which we'll come to see. This is called being a mudha. A mudha, or fool, is one who engages in wrong thinking and then naturally wrong acting. And I also had heard a muda is one who is moody. That's the English translation, being moody, like Prince Arjuna is being. We continue. We are on verse 29. Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushyati vepatuscha sharire me roma harshascha jayate. Mama gatrani sidanti. My limbs, arms, thighs, back, they are failing. Like us sitting in contemplation, correct? Slowly, our limbs fail us and we end up like this, and then horizontal. Mukham cha parishushati. Shusha means dry. Parishusha means extremely dry, is his mouth. When you wake up, your mouth is dry, correct? So you drink water. But it's not extremely dry, where you can't function without getting that water. That's the condition of his mouth. This is not because of exertion. The war hasn't begun. If you've exercised for 2 hours and now your arms hurt so much because you were doing curls, or your mouth is extremely dry because the fountain wasn't working, then this is natural. But what he's experiencing is not because of exertion. Clear? Vepatuscha sharire me, and my body is shaking. Roma harshascha jayate, my skin, there's horripilations. My skin is on fire. This is what Prince Arjuna describes. The second line shows us this shaking is happening at a micro level. For anyone who's traveled with a heavy suitcase, let's say you're coming back from Bharat, then when you put your suitcase down, your arm shakes, right? It's not used to that much weight and letting go of that weight. But what's also shown here, his whole body, the macro is shaking. And I don't think we've experienced that before. Unless you're going through a serious health illness, like a seizure or a stroke, we've not gone through this. Adding more here. Swami Chinmayananda has described what Prince Arjuna is going through as anxiety state neurosis. He is feeling anxious, and this is just the beginning. This becomes worse. In technical Vedanta, this is called moha, or confusion. Prince Arjuna's cracking starts with confusion and then becomes worse and worse. And I'll point that out to you. One more insight. In our devotional course, we're in a section where Rishi Narada, one who can see all, he is speaking to Sri Krishna and says, one of the purposes of your avatara or your incarnation is to protect those who are virtuous and to correct those who are vicious. Protect and correct. And Rishi Narada says, you accomplish this by becoming the charioteer of Prince Arjuna. Everyone caught that insight? Now, the implication of this, what Prince Arjuna is going through right now, has been directed and is being guided by Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna can see the big picture, and Prince Arjuna is an instrument in this big picture. Now you internalize that too. We are all instruments in this grandfather clock. There is no need to be confused. From inspiration to application. Yesterday I asked you to make Mahashivratri more than an event. Just like meaningful mornings is daily, so this achieves development, a Utsav, or festival, should at least become a movement where you feel moved, not for a day, but for 6 weeks. How many of you registered for the High Five Challenge? Those whose hands are not up, this is me giving you cut-eye. I shared with you how exhausted I was yesterday, and I meant that very literally. And yesterday, Sheila and I made a pact that we'll try our best. There are exceptions. Try our best to be in bed by 10:30. Ideally, it should be 9, but all of you keep asking for 9 o'clock classes. What am I supposed to do? So 10:30, I'm a different person today. I feel like I was reborn just by sleeping early. And I know you will feel the same. Commit to this challenge. Your application for this morning. I want you to think of the last time you were very unwell, particularly physically. The last time you were very unwell physically. And I want you to reflect on, where was your mind when your body was very unwell? Try to remember where your mind was. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.